What's up, everybody? What's up? Happy Pod Day! Yeah! Woo! Woo! Thank you so much. And as always, can I introduce first, though? Please, welcome to the See.Plan.Do show with me, professional life coach, business coach, DJ, CPR instructor, father, optimist, cigar aficionado, candy corn promoter, and advocate, Mr. Garry O'Neal Jr. And as always, when you see me getting an extra helping of fried turkey, when you see me getting some more macaroni and cheese, please don't forget the Junior. Shout out to Pops. And we have another Power Pack podcast here today, season 3, episode 10. This is the third part of the wedding season series. And guess what? This is where I put my DJ hat on. As you guys, most of you guys know, I am the owner of Greenlight Entertainment. And so I'm going to put that wedding DJ hat on so we can go over, guess what? We're going to be going over tips and information on having your DJ for your wedding event. All right. So this is if you have not had a chance to check out the first series, the first part or the second part, please do so. Lindsay Green is an amazing wedding planner, wedding and event planner. She was the first person. Then I had Jeffrey Perkins, an amazing photographer. We talked really, and another candy corn crew person. So he talked about photography, and here I am. I'm bringing it in when we're talking about DJing. So shout out to everybody watching this. First-time viewers, thank you for checking out this episode. Day ones, thank you for always showing up. My candy corn crew, people who are watching this on YouTube. So guess what? You might notice it's a lot more hair on the face. I mean, of course, the luxurious beard is always there, but we're in No Shave November, so I like to honor that. So guess what? If you're checking that out, look at that. All right, my candy corn crew, my executive producers, which are my Patreon fans, thank you so much for your constant support. And anybody and everybody who is watching this or listening to this episode on your favorite streaming platform, I'm out here. And thank you for being out here with me. You could have been anywhere in the world, baby, but look at you rocking with me. And as always, I appreciate that. So this is going to be a really great episode. If you are looking to get married, if you just got engaged, you want to plan for, you can even start working on this now. You can still get married by the end of the year, but for the most part, if you're looking for 2021, 2022, if you're looking to gear up to get married and you want to get some information, then what other show could you go to? I mean, what other show is there? I mean, I get that there are other shows, but this show is the best show. So I appreciate everybody rocking with me. So can we get to our See.Plan.Do moment of the week? And it's entitled Pudding. The other day, I was thinking about the phrase, the proof is in the pudding. So Mona, one of my dear friends, we were on the phone and we always talk. And guess what? So we started looking it up. And so when we're talking about proof in the pudding, back in the day, they used to make like a sausage, and it used to be like a pudding-like mixture. So imagine scrapple. Now, first, I love scrapple, but imagine a sausage, and it would be like sort of like intestines and all this stuff, and it could be good or bad, but the only way you knew if it was good or bad, if you ate it, if you tasted it. So really, the real correct phrase is the proof is in the pudding by tasting it. And I want to bring you guys with this. A lot of people, places, and things will disguise themselves and will perpetrate themselves to be one thing. But as we all know, the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. Talk is cheap. You know what else is cheap? Aluminum. If you were to ask Siri or Alexa, whoever you use, you would ask them right now, how much is the cost of aluminum an ounce? Very small. You know why? because it's in abundance and it's in it. We have a lot of it. If you were to ask the price of a diamond, of course, you're getting a lot more. It's expensive. The cost of platinum is a lot more, right? The reason why aluminum is cheap and the reason why talk is cheap is because it's in high demand. It's in high supply. We have it. We see it. We constantly come across people, places, things that always want to perpetuate themselves in one light. But the proof is in the pudding. Don't listen to what somebody says. What are they doing? You don't have to listen to me about being a life coach. You can look at me. You can check out my background. You can look at those things and say, you know what? Is that guy? Is he that guy? Ask it, if you are dating someone and you want to know, and that's actually going to be an episode. If you want to know they're into you, just stop listening to what they're saying. What are they doing? What are they about that life? Because often when we talk about people doing things or they are that person or this is that, we are identifying the actual actions, not what they say. Anybody can perpetuate. Think about Halloween. We all wore masks. We had a great time. But in real life, the proof is in the pudding. So I say that to bring it back to you and me and everyone who's listening or watching. Are you who you say you are? Are you the proof in the pudding? All right. And that is your See.Plan.Do moment of the week, sponsored by Heart Savers, Maryland. All right. Now, can we get to the song of the week? Song of the week. Oh my gosh, man. I love doing all the songs of the week. And here is another banger coming right at you. All right. That was sponsored by Greenlight Entertainment. And so let's get to our, hey, Gary, I know this is my first time, but we had an appetizer. Can we get to the entree? Why, of course, first time viewer and day one viewer and candy corn person and Patreon viewer. Of course, we can get to the appetizer. Let's get to the appetizer first. All right. And it's entitled Quarantine. If you're like me, we're in Maryland. They're just starting to shut stuff down. If you're other places, I'm pretty sure if you're not shut down already, you're about to be shut down. And so what I want to do is I want to share with you quarantine. And of course, I'm using quarantine as an acronym. So feel free to grab that pen and piece of paper and let's write down what we're going to do for quarantine. Q, quiet your soul. I challenge you right now, if you're listening, if you're watching me, I want you to now start adopting and adapting yoga or meditation or prayer in your life. I want you to, when you're meditating, like I look to meditate in the morning. When you're meditating, the first thing you're going to realize the first day is that you have to remove a lot of distractions. I remember when I first started meditating and I was like, man, this is a lot. I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat for breakfast. Is this report due? Hey, what am I going to talk about on the podcast? Hey, do I have the right socks on? What's the day going to bring me? And you have to quiet your soul. Remove the distractions as well as negative thinking. So quiet your soul. Learn to be at peace. Learn to be with one and take in what's happening and quiet your soul. The U is unite as one with God. This was a really great one I came across. Okay. And so whatever deity you pray to, whatever deity you believe in, of course, on this show, we're going to say God. You can say the universe, anything like that. But I want you to unite as one with God, meaning I want you to connect. If you meditate, we learn often a lot of meditation that we're all the same person. Right now, you're me and I'm you. We just have different disguise on. We have different skins on. But let's connect. So unite all of the things that are around you, all of the people around you, all the love that you experience, unite that around you. All right. The A is act with love. Typically, we're operating from two avenues, from two spaces. Either we're operating out of fear or we're operating out of love. And just think about you. This is not an indictment on you. This is not to have a hard look at yourself. But I want you to ask yourself, where am I operating from? Where am I operating from? And how, if I can identify if I'm operating out of fear or love, then I can adjust. Because if I'm operating out of fear, then you could be scared. It doesn't mean, you'll be scared, but you could be upset, frustrated, jealous, envious, disappointed, depressed. All these things happen when we're acting out of fear. Because if you ask the person who was angry all the time, where are they operating from? They're going to say fear. I fear this will happen. A person who is jealous has a feeling and fear of being able to, when a person is jealous, they have a fear that they're not able to attain things. And if you don't believe me, think about a person who you deem as jealous, or maybe you feel jealous about things. And I bet you let's say that person is jealous about another person going on vacations or getting a new vehicle. They have a fear that they're unable to get the things that they want. So instead of saying, you know what, I am happy for you. I'm happy for you, man. Instead of operating from that, you think about you. Where are you operating from? Are you operating from love? Because love is patient, it's kind, it's nurturing, it's supportive, it's listening, it's slow to anger, all those things. Your favorite life coach has operated from fear. And he's also operated from love. And I challenge you that if you're operating from fear, then I want you to make that transition and operate in love. May take some time because you have to unlearn some things. You have to reset, but operate from love. All right. The R is read. Read a Bible. Read a book. Okay. We're so committed on reading social media that it starts to dim what we think. I challenge you right now to read one book a week. We used to do that. Remember that? Remember as kids in school when they used to bring out the school fair book? Oh my gosh. I used to go home and want all these books. So I challenge you to get with a book club. I know some great people that have book clubs. If you don't know anybody that has a book club, start a book club. Use social media for that. But I want you to read. Read, educate yourself, grow. Okay. The A in quarantine, so now we're at Q.U.A.R.A, is activate your faith. All right. A lot of times we may not operate from faith. We're upset because we don't see those things right now. We don't believe. So because we don't believe, we're pessimistic. It's not going to happen. How do you know? As a coach, I've had people come to me. They have had some optimism, but they have to work on being optimistic and having faith that it'll work out. Right now on alonclothing.com, there's a shirt that says everything will be okay. That's the last shirt that I made. I made that shirt right during the quarantine. Because guess what? Everything will be okay. If you're going through a financial drought, I promise you will turn around and be like, man, I remember that time I didn't have any money. If you're going through a separation, a divorce, heartache, I promise you that you'll turn around one day and say, man, I get it. It hurts now, but it won't always hurt. If you don't believe me, I'm pretty sure you've been in more than one relationship. And if you've been in more than one, think about a couple of years ago. You still feel hurt about that relationship? Probably not. All right. So activate your faith. You can do it. The universe will help you. Go back to listen to episode 1 of the season. The universe is your homeboy. The universe will conspire with you to make it happen, but you got to trust the process, baby. You got to trust the process. All right. The N in quarantine is nourish your soul. How are you feeding your soul? It's just like how we're feeding ourselves. What are you putting in your body? Just imagine if you were to just eat, or if you are, and I'm not here to judge you, no one's here to judge you on the show, but if you are always eating fast food, think about how you feel. If we're always eating high sugar, high carb trash, think about how you feel. If right now you were to say, you know what, I'm going to eat cake for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, theoretically, you would be eating, but would you be nourished? It's sort of like if you drink something. People drink soda and stuff like that. You ever been thirsty and try to drink a soda? Doesn't quench your thirst, does it? I mean, yeah, you are in essence drinking something, but it's a whole different vibe when you're drinking water, or I love coconut water, stuff like that. So nourish your soul. How can I get nourished? How can I replenish? The world at times can be rough, man. But how am I going to nourish it? And I can reconnect with my family, reconnect with my friends. I'm going to reconnect with myself. I'm going to plug back into the higher power, because then I can get nourished. Nourish your soul. All right. Take some time for you. Another episode in the future is going to be called self-care. We got to have that. You have to replenish, re-energize, nourish yourself. Nourish that soul. The next thing is talk with God. And this may be more, if you've listened to all these episodes, this may be more of a spiritual one. And it's great. I came across this. I loved it. Talk with God, the universe. Talk with yourself. And when you're talking with yourself, when you're talking with God, put it out there what you want, things you need to work on, and things you give yourself credit for. What do you want from God? Ask him or her or whatever being you believe in. But take a minute to talk with God, talk with the universe. Thank the universe. Thank God. Take a moment. Take it in. We're going through a pandemic right now. And while there are a lot of things that are bad, there are a lot of good. I'm able to connect more with my children. This is probably the most I've ever made breakfast for my children, or smashed them into video games, or just rolled up on them and hugged them and kissed them, outside of my normal stuff. But now I can do it more. Now I can work on my business or work on this amazing podcast more. So I think this reset for quarantine. When you think about quarantine, it's about resetting and removing yourself and putting yourself in a situation so you can get better. We don't have currently we don't have an antidote for coronavirus. So they tell you, hey, isolate yourself, and then in a couple of weeks, you'll be better. Something to think about, guys. The I, intercede with others, connect with others. All right. And when you're connecting with others, ask yourself, how can I support them? A lot of times when people start new businesses, you may see that they're starting to hit people up, but they're hitting people up that are already starting to have businesses. How can you connect with others? How can you intercede with others? How can I be better? Ask 3 of your friends. How can you support them? Connect with them. All right. Intercede with others. Intercede for others. How can I serve my community? How can I serve myself? What can I do for someone who probably can't even help me? What are you doing for them? All right. The N is nestle in the presence of the universe. And that means just sit with yourself and just say, you know what, while I'm sitting here, while we're going under this pandemic, while we're going under this reset, I'm going to appreciate the time that I have. Because unfortunately, as we see, none of this time is granted. You could be here one day and gone the next. And so how can we nestle in the here and now? How can we be here? How can we be now? We're constantly thinking about the future. Oh, tomorrow, next week, next year. Trust me, your favorite life coach does the same thing. But you know what I want you to do? For the rest of this week, until the next episode, just write down 3 things that you appreciate in this moment. Right now, I appreciate you. Right now in this moment, I appreciate the opportunity to be able to talk on a platform and people really rock with it and support me. And they really enjoy the message. I have it in me. So I enjoy being able to talk to people about it. All right. So as we wrap up quarantine, as we broke down quarantine for your appetizer here in the See.Plan.Do show, the last one is elevate the universe, elevate God in worship. So if you pray, pray. Thank the universe for what you have. Thank God for what you have. All right? Put it out there. Okay? That is your appetizer of the week. Again, sponsored by Heart Savers Maryland. And so as we get right to our Greenlight Entertainment Song of the Week, we already done that. And now we can get to our entree. And as always, please check out Greenlight Entertainment for all of your DJ needs. Check out Heart Savers Maryland for all of your CPR needs. All right. And as hey, that was really dope, Gary. Well, thank you very much. Can we get to the entree now? Absolutely. The entree is, again, as I talked about season 3, episode 10, man, we're 10 shows in. I remember when I first started the flyer, the video, the intro video for season 3, and now we're at 10. Now, usually I just do about 23. So make sure you get all these vibes if you have not done so already. And the entree is sponsored by Lalone Clothing. And so if you're looking for shirts like this, I know I got to put it up here. So if you're looking on YouTube, this is one of my See.Plan.Do shirts. So any shirt from the show, look, catch these vibes. And it's not just shows from the shirt. I mean, shirt from the shows. Geez. Not any shirt from the shows. It is things that I think about, things that may resonate with you in your apparel. So please check out laloneclothing.com. All right. Get all that merch. Get a coffee cup. All right. Got my coffee cup right here. See? Get that merch in you. Okay. So let's talk about when we're talking about this wedding season series parts, this wedding season series, and this is part 3. I wanted to be able to come to you guys. Let me put my DJ hat on as we talk about hiring and utilizing a DJ for your wedding. All right. Now, I know you read my bio. I know, but just to preface, I've been DJing for over 10 years. I have my own entertainment company, Greenlight Entertainment. And so I love DJing. I've DJed hundreds of weddings, hundreds of bar mitzvahs, social and corporate events. I love it. So who better than me to give you advice on hiring a DJ and utilizing your DJ? Right? Especially on his show, right? All right. So before we even get started, as far as we talk about some of these things, I want you to just understand the role of a DJ for your wedding. For the most part, the DJ that you hire will probably be an MC, which means that they're going to be talking with people. They're going to be interacting with people. They're going to be the voice of your wedding as you're going through your wedding, right? So sometimes you may not use the DJ as your MC. You may have your wedding coordinator or your in-house wedding coordinator for your venue. They may do that, but for the most part, the DJ is the one who talks. All right. So just understand that they have the role of talking to your people. They're the ones that's telling people when to eat, what we're going to be doing, all those wonderful things, and interacting with people. So make sure that, hey, you just understand that. All right. They also, as a job of a DJ, is to play music at the right time. And I want to highlight at the right time because that differentiates us from a jukebox or differentiates us for your iPad or your phone where you want to stream music. Of course, you can get a speaker and get some music. You could play music, but it's a difference because a DJ should know when to play the right music at the right time, as well as taking music that you have given us and put them in the right places. So if you have a really, really great song, as a DJ, it's our job to be able to put them in the right place. So maybe a really slow song that you really like, we're going to play that at dinner. A really, really great, popular, fast song, we're going to play that during the dance time. A really lovey-dovey song, and it's not one of your like premier songs you want to have coming down the aisle or getting married to. Maybe we put that during cake cutting. We put the right music in the right place to play at the right time. So it's a huge task for a DJ. Okay. We don't just show up and just start hitting the shuffle button. All right. That's not what we do. Okay. So we are the MC. We play the right music at the right time. And also we set the mood. Music sets the mood. You don't believe me? Think about the song that you heard in the beginning. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, you did not hear the song. Hey, man, they got licensing and stuff like that. But go listen to it audio vibe. You'll hear the song of the week. You'll hear the intro. You'll hear the song of the week. They set the mood. If you listen to that first song, you're like, oh, man, that's really good. All right. Music sets the mood. Imagine if you're driving. One of my friends, she was driving from here to like Atlanta. And she said, hey, Gary, can you put together a driving playlist? And like for the first 2 hours, just constant up, 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 up. She told me she shaved off like an hour of her driving time because the music was just up. So she was just up. So we set the mood. When it's time to dance, when you're eating, we're not playing dinner. We're not playing dancing music at your dinner. And we're not playing dinner music when it's time to dance. Okay. And also we follow the event. Now, your event is amazing. Your wedding is amazing. Right. And we are as a DJ and representing DJs right now, we are pleased and honored and privileged to serve as a person in your wedding. Right. Just know that when we look at your wedding, while you look at the emotional aspects of your wedding, we look at it as a series of events put together. Right. So let's go over some of those events. So as we follow them, so that way you can know how we think about it. All right. So first, now, let me preface this by saying you may hear me say bride and groom. That's not, of course, we have multitude of different people. You have bride and bride, groom and groom, people that may use different pronouns, stuff like that. But just know in this episode, I'm saying bride and groom, but I mean anybody who fills those roles, spouse and spouse. All right. So, just take that in mind as you're talking. I don't want anybody to get offended. And like, oh, you just said bride and groom. I mean, two people who are getting married. That's what I mean. All right. So the first thing is, as you're breaking down your wedding, first thing is going to be the pre-ceremony. Now, you are not going to be there. You're going to be getting dressed and getting ready, right? The DJ is going to play the pre-ceremony music. And that means that we're going to be listening to it. We're going to be playing music as people are coming in. And again, we're setting the vibe. We're setting the tone. And usually you help us with that. Now, let me say this. As a DJ, if you want to be very specific about your wedding, great, do it. If you want to have, I've had weddings where they've laid out all of the songs from start to finish. Great. And I've had some people say, hey, Gary, I don't know, man, just do you. Okay. All right. And that's where you want to look for an experienced DJ to be able to take over. Okay. So the pre-ceremony, that's when people are getting started. That's when people are coming in. Of course, you're going to have your elders coming in right on time. Okay. So they're going to come in and it's going to set the music is going to set the vibe. And so you usually can ask your DJ, hey, they might play jazz or love music or Christian music or whatever spiritual music you want to play, whatever at that time, that's what you want to play. All right. Pre-ceremony music is cool. It just is in the background. Okay. Then we're getting to the ceremony. And then as you're thinking about your wedding, I just want you to think about the steps, the events, right? When it's time to start the ceremony, this is where you want to be clear with your DJ and letting your DJ know, hey, this is what I want to hear. Like, oh, this is what I want you to play. Because if you're having your people come down, like let's say you have your bridal party. Your bridal party is the groom, and I'm quotation marks as a groom. Are they going to already be down there with the officiant? Is the bridal party coming down together? Right? What are you going to do? And this is where you want to have sort of an idea what you want to do. And if you don't, this is where you want to start early. You don't want to try to hit up a DJ the night before. Now, I've had that actually happen. I've had a person whose DJ messed up or something happened and they had to get me like the night before. We were ready to go because, of course, the vibes. Mr. See.Plan.Do here. We got it done. So when you're having your ceremony, just think like, hey, what do I want to hear? What am I coming down to? If you're, the quote unquote bride, what are you coming down to? The spouse, whoever the spouse won. Maybe I'll start saying it. This spouse is coming down. What song is this meaningful to you? It's a lot of great songs. Look them up, research. You can research your songs that you want to hear, right? But I've done weddings with people like, well, I don't know. Well, take some time. I would say right now, what are songs that resonate with you and that loved one? What did you guys listen to when you guys were dating? What did you listen to? What was the first song that you guys really grooved to? All right, let that be special for you. Now, when we talk about weddings, right? And this isn't even going to be a long podcast. When you're talking about weddings, of course, you have the traditional route. I'm going to be talking about it from the traditional route, but guess what? You can go right ahead and it could be traditional or it could be whatever the hell you want it to be. Your wedding, baby. Do what you want. Okay? So pre-ceremony, you got your ceremony. Then you got the ceremony where you may have different things. This is where the couple is actually getting married. Are you going to have are people going to be reading poetry or some type of, I want to make sure, sorry about that, guys. I wanted to make sure that I think I unplugged my mic. Whoa. All right. So what are we doing? All right. Where are we coming from? So you want to just ask yourself, hey, what are we doing here? Where are we going? Yeah. So that's when you ask yourself, well, all right, well, what are we going to play? Are we going to have people walking down, in your ceremony? What's the music? What's the vibe? I sort of got thrown off because the mic messed up. What's the ceremony? What are we doing here? Are you going to light candles? Are you going to use sand? What are you doing? And this is where, guess what? This is where you can work with your wedding planner. This is where you can look up research information, think about previous weddings that you've been a part of, and say, hey, this is what we're going to be doing here. All right. Then you have, like, in that ceremony, that's when, of course, people are crying and going over and going crazy, right? Doing all these wonderful things. Okay. Then after the wedding is over, yes, I pronounce you X and X or Y and Y or Z and Z. What are we doing here? Now, this is where, you may jump the broom, whatever you're going to do, whatever tradition you have. And then now we have the recessional. Recessional is going to be this amazing music where people are leaving out. You may want to think about, hey, what do we want to listen to when we're leaving out, or leave it up to the DJ. Okay. All right. Then we go right into, and this is just the background, not background stuff, but after your wedding, after your ceremony, typically we're going to go into your cocktail hour. All right. And your cocktail hour, this is where you guys are usually doing your photos with your bridal party, all those wonderful, cute stuff. Your DJ will be playing music for your crowd. All right. And usually it's about an hour. Okay. So just keep that in mind that, hey, you got time. They'll enjoy it. We'll go from there. And then guess what? Then you guys come back, and then we're going to go right into the intro if you want. And again, I'm just following a traditional timeline. All right. You have your intros, and then boom, this is where, your grandparents and all those people that were a part of the wedding, they're coming out, they're having a really great time, and then here go you and your spouse coming out usually to dance, your first dance. Now, some people, I remember when I was married, we had a choreographed dance. If you want to dance, do some choreography. I remember when I DJ'd a wedding, and they said, yeah, we're going to do a time machine, and we're going to go through all these different songs. Okay. For the most part, your DJ is not going to be judgmental, and if they are judgmental, get rid of them. I have done a lot of weddings, and a lot of traditional weddings, a lot of zany weddings, a lot of different weddings. Doesn't matter to me, because at the end of the day, that's what you want to do. I had a wedding where when they came out to be introduced, they all came out as wrestling characters, and I had to speak as a wrestling announcer. It was pretty lit. I'm not going to lie. Like, coming out as Macho Man or Hulk Hogan or $1 Million Man, and I had to, play the songs for that. It was pretty cool. All right. So, you have your intro, then you have the first dance, and just make it dope, man. Make it relevant for you, whatever song you want to hear. Now, I will say I was an idiot. Oh my gosh. At the time when I was getting married, I loved Teddy Pendergrass. And for some idiot reason, I told the DJ, hey, I want to hear Love TKO. Not thinking about the lyrics of Love TKO. I just wanted to hear it. You don't know, if you don't know the song Love TKO by Teddy Pendergrass, go listen to it. But it was funny to me looking at it now, and I'm like, well, damn, that was not the right song. And you know what I thought as a DJ? I was like, why the hell did the DJ not ask me, like, well, you do know about the lyrics of that? Like, that's really about, like, hey, you're broken up. Yeah. But that's why you want to have an experienced DJ. But I'm pretty sure he thought, hey, he's paying me, so I'm going to play what they want. And for the most part, as a DJ, we will play what you want, but, you know, you may have some questions that your DJ may have some questions for you. All right. Of course, as you go through your first dance, and then there's different dances, and you can choose all the different dances that you want to do. Then you have usually dinner. That's when you're going to play some really great dinner songs. All right. All those wonderful songs, those love songs. We're going to play all that music. And again, this is going to be whatever you want to do. Usually right after that. Then you have your toast. Right? Usually your best man or the matron of honor or whoever it is that you want to have speak. Sometimes people want to have the best man or matron of honor. Sometimes people may want to have the, they may just have the crowd come up and say whatever they want, or maybe the bride and groom or whoever it is getting married, they say whatever. Usually after that, that's when you have cake cutting, and then usually you have dancing. Weddings, if you think about a wedding as far as piece by piece of events, weddings are pretty cool. I enjoy weddings. So after we cake cut or whatever you want to do, oh man. Now, of course, you may have a garter toss or bouquet toss. You may have an apron dance. It's what typically at this point, it's whatever cultural things you guys zone with. Now, you probably go like, well, what's up? If you don't know what a bouquet toss is, that's when usually somebody tosses a bed of flowers, and whoever catches it, for the most part, symbolizes they're going to get married next. Spoiler alert, a lot of people like the bouquet toss, and they like the flowers, and they want the flowers. Then, before, after, it depends on what you want to do, you may have the garter toss. Spoiler alert, guys don't like the garter toss. They don't want to catch the garter. I think about how funny it is to just look at that. Yeah. But you have your, that's fun. Usually that's the fun part. Those are the fun events. Yeah. And then after that, now it's dancing. You dance. I mean, of course, after the garter toss or the bouquet toss, usually the person takes the garter and put it on the person who caught the bouquet and makes it a fun time. Hopefully you have an engaging DJ that will walk people through it like yourself, like me. My weddings are lit. And then we have fun. We dance. We listen to all those great songs that you really, really liked and jam out to and dance. And, you could do the wobble or whatever jam songs you want to hear at that time. And then guess what? Then it's the end of the night or end of the day. Usually you might wrap it up with when you're wrapping it up with the last dance. Some people do a last dance. Some people don't. Then you just wrap it up and that's it. See? So a couple of do's and don'ts I want you to think about as we wrap this show up. I know you're like, hey guys, wait a minute. Hey Gary, this is a short show. Well, this is more content based, but it's still lit, right? And I'm pretty sure that somebody's listening to the show that's getting married, they're all in. And hey, if you're all in, hey, I know you've been writing this stuff down. Couple of do's and don'ts, man. Have fun. Don't stress. All right. As a DJ, usually when I talk to the couple that's getting married, I tell them don't stress. You know where I usually see stressing? When they're thinking about who they're inviting, who they're not going to invite. You know what I'm going to tell you as a DJ? Hey, invite the people you deal with. And if you don't communicate or deal with this person, don't invite them. Seems pretty simple, right? When you're thinking about a wedding, if you are a part of a wedding, ask yourself when you're thinking about the list, would I pay for a meal for this person? Because that's in essence what you're really doing. You're buying a meal. When they come in there sitting there and they're eating dinner, you're buying a meal for them. You right? And we're going to cater it to talk about all that wonderful stuff. All right. But just, don't stress. It's your wedding. People start late. Now, I will say, just don't stress, but try to start on time. But it's a thing. All right. If you ask DJs, a lot of times they'll say, yeah, we experienced that. But even if you start late, don't worry about it. You're getting married. We'll get ready when you're ready. Okay. So have a budget in mind when you're thinking about your DJ. Because sometimes we think, because remember how earlier I said, hey, think about the role of the DJ. He's an MC. He or she is an MC. They're playing music at the right time. They're setting the mood. They're following the event. Okay? Have a budget set in mind on what you want to spend. Some DJs are very expensive and some DJs are inexpensive. But find the best DJ for you. Sit down and talk with them. Okay? Because you can have bad food. You can. The flowers could be wilted. But if you have a DJ that's poor, you're going to feel it the entire night. So just get the DJ that's the best DJ that follows your budget. Now, I will say as a thing, like, just understand that just like with anything, DJs set their own price. Your vendor sets their own price based upon their talent and their budget. You are going to either operate from your budget or the services. Some people have come to me. They don't even talk to me about price. They're like, okay, just let us know, send us an invoice and go from there. And I've had people that honestly have said, that they've tried to figure out what they could do as far as pricing. So just understand that you got to have a realistic budget in mind. I would say as far as DJing, look somewhere between the low 7s to the high 2s, depending on what you want, where you are. Just because you tell a DJ, well, you're not going to be playing that much, doesn't mean that they're still not warranting their services. You are paying us to leave our house and you're paying us to handle your event. So regardless if we were there for 3 hours or 8, we are there to do a job. So just keep that in mind. Okay. So when you're looking for a DJ, think about your budget. Think also about the interaction. I'm lit, but I also have had people that don't really want that. So think about how you want your DJ to interact with people. Usually when I sit down with a client, I'll say, hey, how do you want to interact? Do you want me to be interactive? Do you want me to just play music? Sometimes they say play music. They don't really, I've had a very quiet couple and they really didn't really want all that. But I've had couples that say, listen, I know who you are. I want you to be out there. And we had a great time. Either situation fit. So have a budget in mind, have an idea of a style of DJ, do your research, maybe get some references from this DJ, and sit down and talk with the DJ. Go over the stuff. Now, I will say the last thing is we're here to plan and prep for your wedding, your ceremony, right? All those things. Like, just give us the music. Just give us what you want in advance. Sometimes people want to do stuff at the end, but guess what? We're going to handle it, but you want your DJ to be able to be ready. You don't want to just show up. Like I've had that. I've been at a wedding and they wanted to change stuff around like as we're about to get started. That throws your DJ off a little bit. So just have stuff ready, have things locked. Usually I want to get in touch with the couple the week of or the week before because I don't want them to stress about the DJ. That's the last thing I want you to stress about. Just get married. All right. Well, that is the end of this DJ report. Can I take my DJ hat off and put my life coaching podcasting hat back on? That is the end of this episode. Hey, that was pretty good, right? Of course it was. I know you're saying yes right now. All right. As always, you can catch this episode. I want you to go back and check out the part 1 and part 2 of this so that way you can get all this information and how you can have the best wedding ever. And as always, you can check out previous episodes all on the See.Plan.Do show website by going to See.Plan.Do.com. I don't have to say www, right? Because we're in 2020, like we just went through all this thing. So www.See.Plan.Do.show.com. If you want to be on the show, you want to promote, as you see, we have promotional opportunities available. If you want to be a supporter of this show outside, if you want to provide more support, of course, I want you to like, share, subscribe. Tell people about the show. Somebody getting married? Send them this series, right? Thank you so much. And if you want to be a supporter, I always appreciate the growing number of people that's Patreon supporters. For a small cup of coffee, for a couple of dollars a month, you can support greatly your favorite podcasts or different artists. So check out the Patreon link in the description below or on the website so you can become that supporter. And guess what? You get some perks. If you're an executive producer, you get a coffee cup. You might get a t-shirt. Okay, all those wonderful things. Get some of this, okay? Get it. Get it. All right. All right, man, this is a really great episode. You know, I never really had a chance to really talk as a DJ on the show. So I really appreciate that. Hopefully you guys have really appreciated this episode. All right. So as we wrap things up, thank you. I really want to take time to thank you. Man, it's been a lot of episodes, and I really thank people who are constantly listening. They constantly are providing feedback. They're letting me know how this is their favorite show. That's their favorite show. Thank you so much for your constant support. You don't have to do it. You're taking your time, energy, and money to support me, and I am forever grateful. So until we see each other again, until we talk again, and until we share those special, special moments again, man. Hey, stay safe. Please stay safe. Stay out of the way. All right. And always remember to see, plan, and of course, do it. If you're getting married, congratulations. All right. Until I see you guys next time, make sure you tell 3 people you love them, man. And as always, your favorite life coach loves you. Bye.